Well, hello and welcome. I will kick things off briefly, and then more importantly, we'll be hearing from and creating with two amazing women on this call, both of whom are sort of friends and mentors of mine. Uh, First of all, for anyone who's new to the narrative method, uh, the narrative method is an LA-based nonprofit. We're addressing the epidemic of loneliness, which is super timely, and we build human connection through creative expression. We're artists first. Many of the people who are participating here are artists too. Many of you writers. That's not a requirement. All are welcome. We love the diversity that's reflected in everything we do in these salons. And today's format is new for us. It is our first TNM guest salon. So we will be interviewing leaders in the wellness space and creative rock stars. And Lisa and Markuson is a huge example of both. So I'm going to briefly introduce Lisa and then Shari, who is our founder and sort of frontman. And then we'll get into it. So for
Oh, hi
starters,
guys. Fancy seeing you here. So many people in my office today. I love it. I love it. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. I'm just so thrilled.
I love it. And for context, I'm jealous of Lisa's background. She's zooming in from a historic home in Louisville, Kentucky. We're in Los Angeles. We know that you are all here from all over the country, and in some cases the world. So Lisa, I have the pleasure of working with Lisa as one of her poets. Lisa Ann Markuson, who also goes by LAMARKS, her cool pseudonym, is the founder and chief poetic officer of Ars Poetica. She has an impressive academic background in her bio, which I'll sort of skip past, know that she's brilliant. I'm allowed to say that. And now she's really focused on 12 years of experience and I think a really brilliant future as a freelancer, event producer, a curator, and sort of Pied Piper of performance poets around the world. She can tell you, I think it's 40 plus poets doing live poetry at all kinds of events, among other kind of custom creative work, and has partnered with the Smithsonian, the Chilean Embassy, Macy's, Google, Twitter, is a queen of the Bowery Poetry Club in New York, and many others. She is also a strong feminist, egalitarian, futurist, and the newest board member of the Narrative Method. So that is part of how she's here today. And Shari, I have the pleasure of spending lots of time with each day and week and learning from and creating with, is a marriage and family therapist and the founder of the Narrative Method in 2014. So we're about to celebrate 10 years of doing this sort of creative and connected work. She is a leader of our growing human connection movement, and we create programs, products, and experiences that use stories and creativity to connect people more deeply with themselves and each other. Shari is also the co-founder of the Bridge program at Antioch, which is now in its 24th year. And the Bridge program is a year-long university program in the humanities provided at no cost to underserved adults. She received a master's in science and narrative medicine from Columbia and a master's in clinical psychology from Antioch, where she has been an adjunct professor. Most importantly, Dana will share a picture now. Okay, so with or without a picture, I say most importantly, the reason that I work with and for Shari is that she is a punk rock singer and performance artist. The Red Hot Chili Peppers performed their first show opening for Shari Famous, as she was known as an artist. And this is very much the spirit behind the Narrative Method. right? That it is, it's an academic model, it's studied, we can back it up. But more than anything, it is punk rock, it's liberated, and it's inviting, and it's all of you. With that, I'll hand it off to Shari.
This week, we are looking at the concept of sounds and signals. Let me just see if I have that photo for you, just so you understand the trajectory of all of this stuff. Here we go. Here, forget it. I'll show you later. Okay, Lisa. Lisa is kind of the coolest person I know. And today, since we come together in so many areas, we're going to talk about building human connection through self-expression, and particularly the punk rock of intergenerationality. I'm going to ask Lisa to kick it off, tell us what's on your mind, and punk me.
Well, actually, since we've just tapped on so many elements of punk, I have to say I feel I need to admit I'm not the most punk person in like the typical kind of more cliche ways, though I'm sure I have a picture of myself in a badass jacket with a cigarette hanging out of my mouth from somewhere in my photo albums. And that's why it's so cool to actually get to apply that framework to the work that you're doing. I've never had an example or a role model that I've been able to see who really wanted to break the rules and do something totally different, while also commanding respect and being able to open doors in a more professional way too. And I've been navigating my whole career as an artist, trying to figure out the balance of that. And it's just been incredible getting to know you and seeing how you've done it in so many different ways.
Well, that's so cool. I have to say, breaking the rules is not a brilliant idea I came up with. It was just my rebellion and kind of the only way I knew how to express myself. I was angry as a kid. I don't know about you.
I wasn't really given an example of what a woman's anger could look like as a kid. I grew up in a really um, sort of repressed household where we didn't really get to show our feelings very much, and I didn't have that modeled by my parents. And so I think I felt a lot of confusion, but I always was the way that I responded to stressors in my environment was always trying to like fix things and be helpful. So I
Mhm.
think actually our childhoods were probably really different in terms of
Yeah.
how they looked, but the same probably core feeling was at play.
It's just such a good example of how we are born very specifically. And even for people who will say, well, I'm not creative, or I've never done this, or I can't sing, or it breaks my heart to hear that, because it's just not true. We're all born smart. We're all born with a specificity that it is our job to deconstruct over the course of our lives. And that specificity, your soul, who you really are, stays intact despite all the crap that happens to us. And so for that, soul sister, there you go. So when did you first start writing poems?
Actually, I have a very clear memory of my first time writing a poem in a very structured, intentional way. I was 7 years old and it was a class project. And so I obviously wanted to do very, very well so I could get, a good score on it. But I wrote a haiku dedicated to my dad about kind of like likening him to a redwood tree. I grew up in Sacramento, California.
Oh, that's so cute. Um, does anyone else here have an experience? Just think about it throughout this. An experience of when you woke up to yourself. Sometimes it's like, fuck that. I am not in that box that they put me in. Sometimes it's just like a continuation of a blooming. But for those people who were repressed by your parents, repressed by the criminal justice system and racism and all of those factors, this is our birthright. This is what it is to be human. When we have an artistic core, when we have a practice that connects us to who we really are, you cannot help but create. I mean, what do you think when you're working with people who will say to you, yeah, but I'm not creative? Where do you go with that?
Well, I struggle with that a lot with poets. You know, poets are the specific type of writer and artist that I focus on the most. And I identify as a poet and a storyteller. And when people are almost, it seems, embarrassed to take on a title or to step into an archetype that they feel that they haven't earned yet, it breaks my heart, because I think there's something wrong with the society that has made us think that we have to earn what makes us happy.
Mm.
Like being a poet means that you write poems because it fills you with some kind of satisfaction. You don't have to be in poetry magazine to be a poet. If you've written one poem and it brought you any sense of understanding yourself or catharsis or peace, you're a poet.
Mhm.
And I think there's been a weird shift, and I don't know when it happened. You know, we're always talking about it happened with this generation or this one, or, you know, it was the boomers' fault, it was the millennials' fault, right? I don't know when it happened, and I don't think it's any specific generation, but I think our society has pushed us more and more to believe that our ideas are not valuable. Our ideas could be replaced by the ideas of machines. Sharing our ideas is embarrassing and naive, and we're better off just consuming content and consuming machine-made products that sort of simulate what real human ideas are. And there's no replacement for looking at your own ideas and giving them enough respect and cherishing them enough to write them down. And that's why I love writing.
And I think for a lot of people, getting to the point where you can accept yourself and your voice, and maybe it's not always going to be perfect, is a long haul. And I don't think anybody is there. You know,
There is no there.
There is no there.
One of my favorite poets.
I had an inferiority complex as a kid, and I really had to fight to do the things that I wanted to do. And I say that not because of, my story being particularly special in that sense, but what I love about building a community where people are honest and vulnerable and tapping into their depth with each other is that we constantly see it's not just us. If I ask all of you, raise your hand if you've never felt inferior. Raise your hand if you've never felt self-conscious, if you've never stopped yourself from presenting an idea in a new group of people. It's so important that we know this, that it's part of, if not the human condition, it's part of the American condition. And there was never a time, starting in the past century, I can't speak to the 1800s, I'm not quite that old, but there was no time where people were invited to be individual thinkers. Individualists, which means take care of yourself. The society won't take care of you. Pull up your bootstraps, even if you don't have them. Yeah, that.
I've been laughing about the idea that every idea that has turned out to be something that our society worships and reveres and hinges upon now started off as a radical, hated idea that could get you burned at the stake.
Exactly. So on some level, every new idea is a bad idea. If you are going to forge a new idea in the world, just don't take the immediate response seriously. You've got to follow what's in your heart. And I think the only way we can really, really do that is to have an omnipresent sense that we are not alone. We belong to this same group of people trying to become ourselves. So what?
That's so beautiful.
Oh, you're so beautiful, Lisa. So, Lisa, would you like to model your outfit today?
Oh, yes, actually, thank you for mentioning. Just because we're trying to really show you guys how you can be a little vulnerable and like not just do the normal Zoom thing, I wanted to just show you that behavior by just telling you how proud I am about this shirt dress I'm wearing, which it's kind of like a sweet moment. I was in Colorado 2 weekends ago to MC a wedding, and I went to Ross to pick up something that the bride needed, and I found this dress wadded up in a corner, like on clearance of clearance of clearance. Like no one wanted this dress, and I was like, this dress was a good idea. This dress was waiting for me. $9.99.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's nothing like
Thank
it.
you for asking about my Zoom look.
I love it. So, what do you think as women we are compelled to do for each other as women creatives at this time? What can we do for each other?
Well, the thing that comes to mind first is kind of similar to what you were just talking about the creating the space, which is what you're doing. You know, for any people that know me personally or follow me, and that's how you heard of this, like Shari and her team are hosting this space, which is so therapeutic, but not therapy, so warm, so loving, and it's like 3, 4, 5 times a week, free space for you. So come back and check out other sessions. Uh, the Ursula K. Le Guin essay about the container, the basket, how maybe the first invention wasn't really a spear, it was like a basket to hold things in, and that's the most deeply human thing, is to hold and make safe and give care. uh I think, you know, as this is a group and we're two people that are so proudly women who are trying to kind of break rules and do things on our own, I think I can only speak for myself when I say that I want to break the rules and direct all of my punk F the man energy outward toward our shared challenges, and never direct that energy toward the people that I am holding space for, that I'm making feel safe, that I'm making feel loved. And all those people are not just women, but they're men who want to come and be in this basket with us, who want to lend a hand. They're gender nonconforming people who dare to take a path that has no real role model or known destination, but know that they need to forge that path. Like, yeah, the safe container for the people who want to share the big ideas that they're scared of, that they need someone rooting for them in their corner. That's my role.
I love that. And I love the image of the basket. What a human creation. You know, birds make baskets basically. But if you were to think about your basket, what is in your basket that's weighing it down? And what's in your basket that must be there always?
Okay, well, you just thought of an amazing new icebreaker for like all facilitators and leaders. That what is in your basket today? What can we add? What can we take away? I want it to be full of flowers and fruits and kittens, no rocks, no poisonous snakes. In my basket today is just a huge, like juicy, ripe heirloom tomato with like stripes of red and yellow, which is a metaphor for my relationship with you. It's like ripening up in the sun at the end of summer. It's like ready to just be this incredible thing that we're going to show people. You know, the past few months getting to know you has just, I have felt like I've been a ripening tomato. You've filled me with so much psychic support, and that's led to like last week our company getting featured on the Today Show. You know, last week doing one of our most high profile gigs that we've ever done for the like sneak peek reopening of the Domino Sugar Factory in Brooklyn. This is a big part of my basket. Inside of the basket is all the things that I can share with my team, you know, like little snack bars and protein, maybe almonds or peanuts or something to give to everyone who's on their own journeys to look to fill their own baskets. Little knives and string so that people can learn to harvest their own grains and own things. that's what's in my basket today.
I
It's like
love it.
basically the makings of a pizza.
I love it. So we want to hear you read. That is one of the main reasons we are here. But before that, I want to know something about the process internally, emotionally, psychologically. You launched this giant thing. You empowered other poets to go out and interact with people and making poetry, sort of not just on the street, but in a lot of different environments where it would not have been prior. What kinds of pushback did you get, and what did you have to do internally to keep going?
Oh man, I mean, we can tap into a couple of things that I will be continuing to put in my memoir, but and I just want to say Micah has been by my side and supported me like such an incredible ally for the whole journey since before I ever even knew I would be able to turn this art form into a company. Micah was by my side. So I'm not crying, you're crying. I think the two, I'll just choose two things, two biggest pushbacks. One from the society. I think there's a weird catch-22 where no one will take you seriously until someone else has already taken you seriously who is like a big deal. So it's like it feels really impossible sometimes to get that first person to take you seriously and make you actually feel like there's potential. Because like in 2012, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to create a creative entertainment agency that will provide opportunities for 40, 50, 60 poets around the world to be able to put value to their word and to actually be able to give witness to the world and to receive something in return from that. All I thought I could maybe do was make a few bucks on the side, right? Like if someone would have taken me seriously a little earlier, who knows? And so that's why I try to take artist ideas really seriously and give them a push when no one else has yet. So that would be number one. And then number two would be, I think our society is still really in denial about the problem of patriarchy and the problem of all of the different ways that we oppress certain groups of people, racism, homophobia, just these hierarchies that hold people down so that the people at the very top can feel better about themselves instead of just looking within themselves to find their true self. And I saw that a lot of ways. I saw people kind of tried to glom onto me because they thought I would be weaker, because I would be able to be controlled, I think because I'm a woman. And then when I didn't want to be controlled anymore and tried to put boundaries up and tried to give myself more value, there was a big backlash and retaliation against me in those times. So yeah, those are my two big challenges. And writing through it has really helped me. Times that I didn't feel that I could really say what I wanted to say to people who would listen with open hearts, I was able to say that at least to myself and put that in my journal and keep that from stagnating and festering inside of me.
I think that is a really great, relevant message for all of us, writing through it. There are things that you can't say to another person because of all kinds of factors, but you don't have to keep it inside. Go for it. Say what you would say ideally, and then keep writing about it and edit it. And, I think it is such a perfect way to understand what was it that evoked us in the first place. So writing is for your life. The fact that you can write, it doesn't mean about writing great, about writing badly. It's that you can. This is your voice. It's a way to speak to yourself. Well, I am dying to hear your poem. Please share it.
I chose this poem because this really embodies everything that we've been discussing. I wrote this very spur of the moment when I was actually having a really hard emotional interlude, and I never thought that I would ever read it out loud. I didn't even think it was very good. And then I read it to my friends and they started crying. And I thought, okay, maybe there's something there, you know. So it's actually not in my typical voice, and so no one publicly has ever heard this poem, and I really hope you enjoy. I'm going to read it out loud, and so you probably won't, you know, you're not going to see anything other than me. So if you do want to close your eyes to let the words wash over you, you're welcome to do that, or you can just watch my face. Many spells have been cast on me, some as nets, some as chains, some as lucks, some as talents. I am a parable of myself. The world is dreaming. I am the dream. Fading into gossamer at dawn, repaired and woven under the restful moon. Can I catch you? Can I consume you and extrude you into the web? It is a freeing catching, a strategic surrender, a coolly comforting hug. I am busy surrounding you into a suspended sleeping sky. Hush, do not beat your wings. Your stinger is no use here. Look into my 8 black eyes, no more need for a disguise. Hush, flying friend, you found me. I am here. The earth will accept your offering and digest you into dream deliciously.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Okay, so now Lisa, in a moment, is going to offer a prompt for everyone to write for 4 minutes, and then we'll go into breakouts. But before we do that, I just want to go over the guidelines. And so by being here, you agree to listen to other people as a witness, just to receive whatever they've written, without criticism, without judgment, and without comment. Because once we comment, positively or negatively, we start to put a qualification on someone else's work. There is nothing more profound, and I know everyone here knows it, than being fully heard without criticism or without interruption. So with that, Lisa, would you like to offer the prompt? And then I'm going to invite everyone to write for 4 minutes.
Can I get that slide, or do you want me to read it from
No,
memory?
I've not only got the slide, I got the slide. Hang on, man. Okay. This is the concept that we're looking at today. And I think it dovetails nicely with the prompt. The idea of sounds and signals are that they are the unspoken communications, the subtle, nuanced communications.
Referring to the first line of my poem, when was a spell subtly cast? It's not a test, it's just what this brings up for you. So enjoy your time to explore that question.
All right. All right. So Dana will put you into small breakouts for 7 minutes. When you get in there, just say your names. Don't get into a big conversation yet. After everyone has said hi, then go around and take turns reading what you've written. And again, when you're listening, you're just receiving it with appreciation. This is what someone came up with in 7 minutes. So Dana, open up the breakouts, please. All right, I am going to share an awesome slide of Lisa's. Hang on one cute little second. Here.
The process for going to the doctor could be a yarn and a yawn. The yarn is when you tell a little story about how you feel, and then the yawn provides the chemical data, and then the practitioner syncs them together.
I really like that. And if you have some, go ahead.
I was just going to transition into actually talking about the little writing exercise, but we could also keep going.
Go
tempting. Okay, so up on the screen is a really simple image that I wanted to share with you because any of you that know me a little bit better know that haiku is my absolute favorite form to use, especially when I'm writing poems for other people to give them some of my energy. And so we're going to do a little bit of a different writing exercise now where you're going to get to write haiku and share them in the chat. But I realize a lot of people don't know where haiku comes from. So that's what this image is about. If you go back actually to the trees again, I'll just kind of name these images. I love the forest, and as you see here on the left is a beautiful forest that's full of so many different organisms, and it's so lush and green you could barely almost tell what is what, right? In the middle, you've honed in on and are looking at one tree, and then on the right you see each individual beautiful needle of just one pine needle on the tree, and that's kind of how haiku was born. And now we can go to the next slide for a nice example. Before there was the art of haiku, Japanese monks in the 1600s would play a writing game together, which was called renga, where they would actually write 5, 7, 5 stanzas and then pass the paper and the quill along, or brush, I suppose, and then write a 2-line 14-syllable stanza after that, pass it along, 5, 7, 5 again, pass it along as long as you would really want to play. After that, they were cut down into just a single stanza of 5, 7, or a single cluster of 5, 7, 5, 7, 7. And then that was refined even further to become the haiku that we know today, which 5, 7, 5 is the generally agreed upon syllabic number for English language. But just to give proper credit to, English is not the language that these poems were originally started in. It was started in Japanese. Japanese language sounds a little different from English. And so 5, 7, 5 in English is actually a little longer than what the original poems would have been. And so some purists who are writing haiku in English will actually make them only like 11 to 14 syllables. But for the sake of today, would you like me to read this poem, or shall we just go ahead and go right into, I'll read this poem out loud. And if you're already inspired and you want to share haiku in the chat, what I'm going to do is actually read some out loud in the chat after I finish this example one. And this is actually a translation from Japanese. I don't see the screen anymore, so I can't read it, but I think I can read it in my email. Okay.
I thought you were done. Hang on. Here we go.
Awesome, thank you. As it snows, the base of the mountain is misty, gentle evening. Far in the way the water goes, a plum blossom smelling hamlet, the wind from the river. Sways weeping willows. Now it's springtime. We forget the names of our winter coats and boots and scarves. Shortened down, it becomes tanka, and shortened down again. As it snows, the base of the mountain is misty, gentle evening. So feel free to start sharing haiku on the spot, off the cuff in the chat. I can't wait to read some out loud. This is a really fun practice that I do a lot, and Micah and I have done together for many years. So show us what you got. And if the line breaks don't work right because it's in the chat, don't worry, I'll do my best to break it up, and we won't hold you accountable for the 5, 7, 5.
All right.
Micah, you better put one in the chat.
I will put one in the chat, and we're doing these in the chat because we'll use the rest of the time for anybody to raise your Zoom hand and share something about the experience today, to ask questions of Shari or Lisa, and say whatever you want. We're not afraid to get weird.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to reference back to the name of this talk, No Bad Words, which we just cracked ourselves up coming up with that because, we're both a little like funny and funky and salty. And we were like, oh, we shouldn't say any bad words. And then it was like, wait, there's no such thing as a bad word when we're just genuinely in community, and there's no such thing. So likewise, there is no bad question. Feel free to ask us anything, even if it feels, I don't know, silly, or if you feel embarrassed. If you feel embarrassed about the question you're about to ask, that probably means it's a really good question.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see. It looks like people have definitely tried to split up the lines into, line breaks, but then they're coming through as just one. So try to type it in a notes app or something before and then bring it over and let's see. And asking for the description of it, it's
Yes.
like, it's literally 3 lines. First line should be about 5 syllables, second line about 7 syllables, and third line about 5 syllables. And so that's like, I'm eating ice cream. That's 5 in English. Whereas in Japanese, ice cream itself would be 5 syllables. Aisakarimu.
Wow.
So that's how you know how much more bang for your buck you get out of the English syllables. So let's see.
Way more descriptive of the experience, isn't it?
Exactly. You have to fill in the blanks a lot more and kind of color it in yourself in Japanese.
Oh, I love these. Oh my God.
You can read them out loud too, Shari. I'll read one from Lori Lee right now. In the field, there was a cow waiting to be tipped. Milk does not come free.
Okay.
Not gonna say anything, even a compliment. Just gonna clap for that because wow, so good.
Okay. Here's Marcia Sachs. Poetry tingles. Just the suggestion of rhyme, my brain exploded.
Ooh.
Sorry, question. I
Yes.
did something wrong. I tried to text one of my breakout room contacts. I'm in direct message. Can I read mine out loud?
You know what? I'm going to say no, only because we don't have enough time for everyone. Are you
Okay.
saying that you couldn't get it into the chat?
It went into Lori Lee's direct message.
Okay, so just, place it in the chat again to everyone.
Okay.
So at this time, we'd love to hear from you. Thoughts, questions, stupid ideas, crazy ideas, wild, whatever. Please put up your electronic hand and we'll call on you in the order you appear. While you're thinking, I want to remind you that we are here Tuesdays at 4 o'clock for an hour of short form writing, Wednesday mornings at 7:30 for 30 minutes, Wednesday evenings at 5 for the conversation salon, Thursdays at 6 writing, and Sunday mornings at 8:30 for writing. All right, Sarah.
This is the first time that I'm joining this group, and I am so happy that I found you. Lisa Ann was a great inspiration to me when I got to know her at a different group, and I'm very, very happy that I found another safe space. Thank you so much, and I'll try to join as many conversations, as many sessions as possible. Thank you.
Fantastic. Welcome to our joint, huge, awesome.
So great to see
community.
you, Sarah.
Thank you. Lorraine.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just so pleased to have this space made available and to hear the conversation that brings to me the importance of having an idea and owning the idea and not needing for anyone else to approve of the idea because it's my idea.
Exactly.
And the confirmation of that, what you all just did in this space, is extremely magical for human beings to exist in times like this. So thank you.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you. Lori.
Hello. I want to just thank you for this kind of space, Shari, that you created, that I've been around for over a year. And it was a perfect antidote to, say, a bad medical experience earlier today. And I got to write about it. So it was really interesting where maybe a medical provider, you'd think, well, they can create a safe space. Well, no, they did not. But you did, and I appreciate that. And I got to write something I'm very proud of about it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Lorna.
Yeah, this just feels so delicious, kind of like palliative care. And that's not the right phrase, really. But I feel that I'm still experiencing the fear unconsciously of being burned at the stakes for speaking my truth. And that was reaffirmed very much in my lifetime in one way or another. I couldn't be too smart, on and on. So this is a wonderful corrective kind of experience, reminding me, or that you're giving me like a little taste of what it might feel like to be safe, because I do not feel safe.
Well, I'm glad you can feel safe here. And I have to say, when we first went online, it just seemed absurd to think we could have this level of intimacy. But for some reason, all of you and the people that come here just are gorgeous and open and sharing and real. And man, we are defying what we are told our country is. Tori?
Actually, can I just say one more thing to also respond to what Lorna said?
Wait, who's saying that? I'm not seeing your face.
Oh, it's me, LA. We're all
Okay.
like moving around now. The fear that you feel in your body is so real, and it's very, very unique to the negative circumstances that you were raised under and that you currently live in. And I think that's why part of my mission in life is to show an example of what less fear can look like, because I was just so lucky to have not as many forces against me. And so I do have a little bit of an advantage. And so if you still feel a lot of fear, you can continue to just use this and use this and leave a tiny little breadcrumb out. And then if someone picks up on that breadcrumb, then you can leave another breadcrumb and make sure that you're safe. You don't have to feel like you have to bear it all at once.
Good advice. Tori?
This was so fun. Thank you. Also, I never write poetry, so this felt super liberating to just get it out. And there were so many beautiful points. I love when one of you guys said taking an artist seriously, but it's like, oh my gosh, we should take ourselves seriously, our own ideas seriously, not just the ideas of other people, but like honor what's coming up. And also I really loved the bit about giving people a little bit of your energy when you said it when you're writing the quick poem, and I'm like, oh, what a beautiful gift to give somebody. So I think it kind of like gave me a new perspective. And then the very last thing, what typewriter are you writing on? I see that in the background there.
Oh, this, I can't believe it was just in the frame. What a coincidence. That is actually, let me show you. This is my custom designed silver Hermes made in 1962 in Switzerland, and refurbished with the chrome by my friends in Spain, called El Granero.
It's beautiful.
Amazing. Thanks, Tori. Taz, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Taz. First of all, I just want to thank you both, Shari and Lisa, for hosting this space. While you two were talking back and forth, I could not stop nodding and smiling because I resonated with everything, especially the part about how all like world-changing ideas started out as a bad idea. I think that's something that I like have to constantly remind myself. I'm actually somebody who's like, I'm trying to build a podcast and a blog, and it's been about redefining the hustle. So a lot of times people will tell me, like, that's a very defined like thought. How are you just going to redefine it? And I always tell them, well, that's the whole point. Like, I think it's misdefined. And it wasn't until this space that I felt like, you know, somebody else was really reaffirming that your bad idea is meant to change the world. And that's why, like, you are here to do that. So I really appreciate being able to come here and be reignited with that. So thank you.
Yay, love that. Micah.
Okay, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and especially Shari, to you and Lisa for today. I had really high hopes, and you know, they're exceeded. So just what a bright blessing of two loud sirens unleashed form a punk rock band. That's a haiku. Thank you.
Oh,
Love
nice.
Okay.
I was like, wow, he's speaking so poetically. Oh, yep, it's a haiku.
it. Chase.
Hi, this was so refreshing to change it up a little bit, do something a little different. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen next. And it kind of just got my creative juices going in a different direction. I haven't written poetry in a little while. And this has been amazing. And I think the thing I got out of this, Shari, that you said is every new idea is a bad idea. I love that.
Thank you so much, Chase. Pearl.
Hi, thank you so much. And Lisa, thank you for explaining about haiku because it drove me nuts. How can you write a haiku in English when it's a Japanese system? And it just really drove me nuts when people would do that. And so thanks for like expanding on that. And it's not just the syllables, it's a system, it's a method, and it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to Japan and studied haiku with a Buddhist monk, and then went out trying to write haiku that were translated between English and Japanese for the people on the typewriter. And so many Japanese people came up to me and my Japanese friend, and they were like, haiku in English, it's impossible. How can it be? Like, they couldn't believe it. And but then when they saw it, they thought it was a bad idea at first, and then they enjoyed it once they experienced it.
Great. Fantastic. Lydia.
Hi, everybody. Laurie, I just want to thank you and make a point of reference to when you said it's okay to be afraid. And the narrative method has given me that courage. I've been a part of it since January. I've been journaling since a child. It started with diaries. And I'm at the point now where I want to write better poetry. So the narrative method has given me that opportunity to continue,
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to say thank you.
Love it. Vernon. You are muted.
We can't have that, can we?
No, we can't.
No, but thank both of you for the conversation, for allowing us to be in part of that dialogue. I don't know either of you, but when you speak, I know both of you.
Mm.
And the sharing of that idea is a flow of my own thinking and my own feeling. So as far apart as we are, and as never having met as it has been, yet we're so close together, because every thought that you shared between each other was a reflection of my own thought in myself. So I just wanted to show my appreciation to both of you for allowing us to just get involved in your own minds and your own hearts in that conversation. Thank you.
Love that. And I just feel like doing this. Not that it works, but dig this symbolically. Just look at yourselves. It's because of you guys. We could have this conversation, but when you're here and you resonate with it, then we know that what we're saying is coming across. It's the same for all of us. We are humans, we have voices, and we need to use them. B.
Yes, thank you, Micah, Shari in LA, and everyone who shares their stories consistently here. I was talking in our breakout groups how beautiful it is to be able to share ourselves here, and then how it's like this, it's a weird thing that we can share these words with strangers, but not the people closest to us in our lives, because that is a space of judgment and vulnerability at times that maybe we're not ready to access. But today was like one of those moments where I felt like I had my voice again. So thank you for the
thank you.
Yeah. 11:04.
Yeah.
So Lisa, I wanted to see if you had any final thoughts before we close. I'm just going to put something up on the screen in the meantime.
It's 11:04.
Yes, thank you, Chase. Lisa, any final thoughts?
If I could just share my huge gratitude to everyone, not only in the space, but everyone who even just landed on the Narrative Methods website and considered joining us. And I want to send the gratitude as a bit of a ripple effect. I want to thank you all for sharing a little bit of this positivity and this fearlessness and this intergenerational daring to be vulnerable. I want you to share that with someone in your life, in real life. And I thank you for that in advance and for how that will just continue to radiate out. I'm so excited to see what we create next.
Beautiful. Guys, you are so appreciated. Your voice, your presence, your nodding, all of it. Thank you for being here with us. Have a great day and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.